the McDonald Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I'm back in the Woodland Hills headquarters. I packed up my place and went back to the 818. And as I was leaving, I got in my car and the song for, I think, Pretty in Pink, Don't You Forget About Me. That's what was playing Breakfast Club as I left. Anyway, it was great. Went on the boat. Jeff Lewis and Chef Stu were in town, my friends. And we went on the boat, had a cocktail sunset party Saturday night. We went on the boat with the kids on Sunday. Back to reality. I'm going to go through the hottest topics that happened this weekend. And then I have a great, really fun interview with two of your favorites, Brandy and Julie, that we did tape back in Newport. But it's all here right now, ready for you. Okay? Okay, so Teresa got married. It was pretty shocking. The hair was out of like my gypsy wedding. It was crazy. It was like take all this extra hair, several wigs at the crown of your head, like the back of your head, and then a big diamond crown tiara. And it took me a minute like to just absorb. And then I realized I had a very similar look for my wedding. I basically did the same thing, but I didn't have fake hair. And it was in May 27th, 2000. So I wish Teresa and Louis I hope that her hair brings the same luck that my hair did, 22 years of marriage. But the look I did was I had them take all my hair and then they like put so much hairspray in it and they wove it like a basket at the crown of my head. And then I had the tiara. It wasn't as big, but it's so similar. And then the veil went on the back. I just thought listen, we knew it's being filmed for the show. We knew she wanted a big thing. It was like, just when you think maybe Hollywood has changed, you're like, no, no. Money can't buy a class. It can't. It was so New Jersey. It was like she just wanted it really, really big. Oh, it came out that it was $10,000 for her hair. Mm-hmm. So this is clearly what she wanted. She had her 4 gorgeous daughters were there. They all have good taste and were dressed really pretty. They all wore like these pinky rose, very tight-fitting dresses. They let it go. They knew this is what our mom wants. It was clearly like a look that she had thought about and decided on it. I don't know what he thought when she saw her walking down to Ave Maria also. Ave Maria was part of my wedding. We're just very similar. I didn't really realize how similar. Here I am. I have photos on my from my wedding here on the YouTube. If you want to watch Juicy Scoop on YouTube, go and subscribe. So I was about to like rip on it. I was like, hey, bitch, like you did a similar look. Now you might go, Heather, but come on, it was 22 years ago. Hey, some looks are timeless, clearly, and I chose one. Didn't think it at the time, but now I realize I'm back in style. Thanks, Teresa. Louis C., whatever her name is, her new husband's last name. Dorinda was there, and she posted a bunch of photos of herself there, real thirsty photos. She was very critical of Jill's there and being thirsty. She did ones like a paparazzi of her arriving, her with the bride and groom. The photos were everywhere. They did not tell them that you couldn't post or that you couldn't have your camera. There was none of that, and people were posting all different. Everyone got everything. We saw them dancing. We saw the entertainment. I mean, I don't know, because I'm thinking Bravo paid her to share her wedding with them. So she got a fee for that. And I'm surprised that there wasn't a stricter policy. She actually had a very similar, so she wore 2 dresses. And the first dress was like very light pink. You couldn't really tell in the photos. It was very light pink, strapless, very similar to Tamra's wedding to Eddie, which I did attend. And we definitely could not post or any of that because it was filmed for a Bravo special. Maybe Teresa has more power. Maybe they realize, you know what? Social media and reality shows go hand in hand. Why try to stop it? It's going to get out. It's impossible for it not to get out. And so a bunch of housewives went. And I heard it was just tons of food. It was really good food. It was very expensive. There was like a 2-hour cocktail hour where she was then busy taking photos and filming. Then they came in. There was entertainment. There was a burlesque dancer. I thought that was weird. That danced around and just to the point of just little pasties. So just like the flapping tits just out at the wedding. Very weird. The other entertainment was kind of fun, like these other dancers, but that part I think is weird. The food was really good. Like you got your choice of Chateaubriand or chicken or fish. But the dinner came very, very late. Everyone has said that. It just was a really drawn out, lots of fun, but no one was hungry, but it came very late. And then so a lot of people left around 11:30 because they are a 50-year-old bride and groom. The people are 50. When someone is 30 and they get married, maybe the old people leave and the 30-year-olds hang out and they party till 3 a.m. and that's when you want that in and out truck. Well, she had that. She had the Shake Shack, she had the candy, she had the pizza. But some people left before the dinner and ate the Shake Shack and the pizza and were like, I'm out. I'm 55 years old. I'm out. Ramona did not go. Now, she posted on Saturday her going, oh my God, I'm in a beautiful yacht in Ibiza. I just came out of the gorgeous water where I was swimming. But that was from like 2 weeks ago. She totally had planned to go. And I think at the last minute, she just decided she wasn't feeling great. She didn't go. I don't know the reason. Not a lot of people are talking about the fact she didn't go, but she definitely was not disinvited for revealing all the details of the wedding. And then we found out that, the biggest thing is that Melissa and Joe didn't go. And all the rumors about what went on with the filming, they had the finale for the New Jersey season like a couple nights ago. And apparently the story, rumored to be, is that there is a new housewife who came in with information that Melissa was seen cheating with a married man, like kissing a man. That was talked about all season long. This is alleged. All season long, maybe unbeknownst to Melissa. It finally comes out at the finale. Teresa was made aware of it right in the beginning. Then they filmed for several months. This knowledge somehow gets out on the cameras. And that's when Joe and Melissa are like, we're not coming. And it was found out just a couple days before the wedding that they were not attending. The bridesmaids were Dolores and Jen from the show. And then, of course, the 4 daughters. And I don't know if there was anybody else besides that. His sister married them. She was the officiant. Louis' sister did. And then at one point, he's like, thank you to our friends and family. And Teresa's like, chosen family. And everyone's like, woo! That was another video we saw. Now, Dina Manzo, we heard that she wasn't going to come because of cameras. And she didn't want to be where cameras are going to be. Very weird because, you didn't have to put on a mic. You didn't have to talk to anyone with a mic, like whatever. But there were a lot of people mic'd. So if you were like talking to them, even if you didn't have a mic, I guess it would be a little nerve-wracking to know that whatever you say could be used. However, she didn't go. We knew she wasn't going, Dina. And then, I'm getting to the Dina. And then she posted a bunch of stuff on Saturday and Sunday about letting go and walking away. And sometimes a chapter ends and a new begins. And we heard that she had an issue with Dolores and that she threw the engagement party and therefore Dolores didn't come. And it is believed that her issue with Dolores is that Dolores, along with her sister, Caroline Manzo, wrote character letters to help her ex-husband, who's Caroline Manzo's biological brother, who she married and then divorced. Her ex-husband is facing charges for hiring someone to brutally beat up Dina and her current husband. That whole thing, I don't know where it is in the trial. But they wrote character letters for him, Dolores and Caroline Manzo, is what I believe to be true, so that, he would, not get a harsh sentence or be seen in a better light. I don't know. And from there, she just didn't want to be maybe in the same room with Dolores. But Dolores, everyone looked beautiful. That's the deal with the wedding. And there you go. And then she had a second dress. And then she might have had a third, but I haven't seen the third. Second dress at the wedding, hair all still the same. It must have been so heavy and so hot. Mine wasn't. I didn't have any fake hair. I didn't even know you could do like fake hair or falls or anything 22 years ago. So mine was just my own little woven basket in the back of my head. Okay. Just once two people fall in love and get married, two break up. Kanye and Pete, they announced that they are done. They broke up. A nice juicy scoop reminding me that I did say that I said that I believe they'd break up early summer because Pete's not going to want to deal with 4 kids going back to school, okay? Back to school shit, it's happening. It's starting to get stressful. And no 28-year-old guy with a big dick wants to deal with that, okay? But I said if they don't break up by August, then I think that then if they lasted till December is when I said then they would start making the twins that Justin and I wanted to happen. So anyway, I think that, yeah, she had her fun. You know, she had her fun with him. And it is that the age difference was too much. She since has been posting all this positive stuff about Kanye, posting his Kanye glasses. And I also heard it's because she's part owner of Yeezus company. It could be that she's just supporting her children's father. She wants it to be successful, obviously. Or my other prediction a long time ago was, would she possibly be like Elizabeth Taylor, who married her ex-husband, get married twice to the same person? I said she's Elizabeth Taylor. She might get me, married 8 times, whatever. Who knows? The show premieres in a couple weeks. The same day they announced that Khloe had her baby, her second baby with Tristan. Kanye's posting Skeet Davidson dead at 28, like this, old-fashioned newspaper thing. So everyone's just it was just a big PR day for a lot of people in the Kardashian clan. Khloe had her baby with Tristan. The surrogate gave birth to the baby boy. We don't know his name. We still don't know Kylie's son's name. So they're saving that for the Hulu premiere, I guess. But Khloe also broke up with her investor boyfriend. He was like an investment banker. What was he? A equity investor. I mean, come on. You have a baby at home. You're dealing with a husband. You're dealing with the baby daddy and Tristan and all of it. I don't know if this baby was born 2 weeks ago or they just decided to announce it at the same time of the Pete and Kim breakup. I don't know. Then Stormi, as I predicted, had her little headphones on and went to Travis Scott's first concert since Astroworld, where he's like, "Are you ready for it, Stormi?" And then Kylie filmed her being like, "Yeah, and she's really cute. And anyway, so they're cute. I mean, I have to say, we talk a little bit about Brandy and Julie love Kylie Jenner and her soothing, Stormy voice. So there you go with that. Now, everybody, I hope that you went to heathermcdonald.net and I hope you got your tickets. All of my fall dates have been announced. All the links are there. You want to go to heathermcdonald.net to buy your tickets, okay? Because that is the best price and the most accurate. And so go there, and hopefully there's no issues and you come and you plan your trips. But get it going. We have all the cities: St. Paul, Chicago, New York, Vegas, Seattle, Portland, Texas, and San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, East Coast, DC, Philly, Washington, DC, Boston. All of those dates are there, and it's live Juicy Scoop. It is not my regular stand-up act. If you saw me this year, it's completely fresh and new. However, there's juicy, funny, stand-up type stories that I will share in there. It'll all be new and fresh and timely. So get your tickets. It'll be so fun. And I think New York is almost sold out, and that's October 15th. So get the last of those tickets. And hopefully the rest of it will sell out too, and we'll have a great time. Now for the always hilarious Brandy and Julie. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop for the first time and the last time that you'll be here at the OC Juicy Scoop
mansion.
Studio. Yes.
Right, the mansion.
And going back to Woodland Hills after this, but I'm glad you could make it. It's Brandy and Julie.
Hi, oh my God, it's so nice here.
Oh, wow. I hate that we didn't get to do this multiple times.
I invited you, but you were on a fancy trip.
I feel like you look richer.
Thank you.
More beautiful, younger. This is the luxury we need.
I do want to say, as people know, they can watch this on YouTube. And someone said, I love how you have a light for yourself and not for your guests. My guests do have a light.
Yes.
However, I kind of have double light because I'm facing the window that faces the bay. So I'm getting natural light at me, and then I also have a light. So I'm probably still going to be a little bit lighter than you guys.
You have the beach view. Now, I do wonder which episode and which guest appeared as though they didn't have a beauty light, but I won't make you say.
No, it was like just a comment of someone being like,
Right,
hey,
but
you.
who was the person they thought didn't have a beauty light simply because they looked uglier.
Oh, yes, that's good point. I need to go back and think about that.
Well, I can attest there's a light. There's a light.
That I look so beautiful.
Yeah.
So you came here, and normally you come to the office. So this was the first time that you met my dog, Raven, in person.
Gorgeous.
And, I mean, she really is adorable and really attractive. She is a little odd with new people.
Oh, it's fine.
She really only likes Peter. And I had to tell you why. And
Can I first say,
Yes.
I do love a standoffish dog
Yeah.
because I believe that I interpret dogs like people. So when a dog is too much of like a thirst bucket, I'm like, okay, like you just, what are you, friends with everyone? Like I
Right.
don't feel like I'm giving a good energy. Raven, who I didn't know that was her
yes,
name.
she.
Like maybe named after Raven, the drag queen.
Yeah.
She took one look at us, and when I tell you,
Left the room.
didn't even run, but just aggressively went down a long hallway and left.
She left.
And
Yeah.
I appreciated that because I was like, yeah, I like antisocial.
I'm not
I
mad at
don't
that
know
either.
you. Who are you? Do you even go here? Type of behavior. I like that.
So we adopted her because Peter was all of a sudden met her breed and then like joined a Facebook group or found, and this person said, this dog is looking to be adopted, not for purchase, adopted. She's 7. This is 2 years ago, like beginning of COVID. And so it was out here in Orange County, and we met the breeder who brought Raven out. And the first thing she said was, sorry, she's so fat right now. And she was not. And I go, well, oh, she doesn't look fat to me. And then she said, so we're like, so how is it that you're giving her away?
Are you guys moving? Are you destitute now? Are you now bankrupt? You must be. You must be bankrupt or health problems.
Yeah.
You must both be going into the hospital and dying because you're giving away your dog that you've had for 7 years.
I also wanna-
This must be happening.
I want to add one
She
more thing.
said-
That it's a beautiful dog that looks like what I presumed was a miniature husky, which I didn't.
She's
think
an Alaskan Klekai.
She's gorgeous,
And-
not overweight, not
Klekai.
even fluffy.
It's
No.
even
Quite
a drag queen style vocabulary.
Right.
She's a
She
click guy.
basically looks like a husky who's had work done. Like if a husky
It's
had
like
a
a
nose
li- and a
job
little-
and had
little-
like an eye lift.
Yeah.
And it's small.
Smaller.
And smaller.
Beautiful.
So,
Gorgeous, not fat.
So then the woman said, well, she's a breeder dog. And so she's 7 years old, so she no longer...
Is worth anything to
Can have
us because we
babies
are pieces
anymore.
of shit. Sorry, go ahead.
And then she said, and she also used to do was a showgirl, like in the Best in Show.
Oh, so we exploited her for as long as we could,
and
too.
I said, did she do very? I go, oh, that's amazing. Did she win anything? She goes, no, she never did as well as we thought that she would.
I'm surprised you didn't just kill her.
So she's like, that's what we do.
Yeah,
with
that's what
them.
we do because we are disgusting.
And so then we're like, well, let us think about it. We went to go eat, and I said, 100% we're taking this dog. This dog is my spirit animal. At the time, 7 times 7, she was 7. She was 49. She could no longer have babies. Neither could I. She never made it in show business, and she was a little bit fat.
I want you to know, and this is, and I hope the breeders listen to your show. I will find you. And
When you left the room, she asked. She asked
going
for the
down.
number, and I was like, "Don't give it."
I don't
please.
know where the number is. It was 2 years ago. We just went to this
That's
house
okay.
and
It's
then
not
got
going
her.
to be. It's not going to be on you. It's going to be on me. And if these are lesbians who did this, I fear for them.
know for sure, but the style of dress and shoe choice.
Sure. Was it
made
like
me
a
think-
Tiva?
And that's why I thought maybe that's why she's so obsessed with Peter. Why she really her favorite is Peter, and then her second is like second master Drake.
You know
so
what?
It's like
You know-
she's
you know what's
not really
interesting?
into me except if she sees me in workout clothes and she's like, I think that girl's
That could
going
be a
for
man.
a walk.
This is an interesting
Or
thing.
she's turned on.
Right.
Because she's also a les.
This is an interesting thing. Generally with dogs, they're mostly afraid of men because those are usually the abusers. And so I find it to be interesting that these two women, these lesbians, who will name nameless until I find them, were so grotesque to this dog that it's turned off to women. I have to say to them, this is a first.
Especially
this
you.
Is
especially
a first.
you.
I look like a man.
That's why
I
it
look
ran away.
like a man.
That's
and
why
it
she
still
ran away.
She
took
Yeah,
one look at the dyke in the
wasn't
room.
You're right.
She wasn't barking. She just was like,
She just
let
was
me
like,
get the fuck out of here.
Literally was like, tink, 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 tink,
Yeah.
tink, tink, tink. I got to get out of the room because a lesbian who looked like these horrible witches that cut my vocal cords and discarded me like garbage because I couldn't give birth anymore. I can't be around that energy.
But you know,
Before we get into all our juicy topics, you guys went on a big European Mediterranean cruise. I don't know what. And you said you had one good story for me.
well,
and for the juicy scoopers.
first of all, we were sitting on a bed with you.
Yeah.
Less than a week before we left.
Oh, when we were in
You
Napa.
were rolling your face with a jade roller. And when I tell you, when we had COVID for approximately
17,000
47
years.
days, this image of you rolling your face was so soothing. Like, even later, I was like, how soothing.
Wait, you had COVID on your trip?
No, when we
After.
got home. We got that Euro COVID honey clout, the clout, and
Yes.
it was intense. And we have never had it once. Never
My-
once.
Okay, so my friend had the Euro COVID too.
But you didn't get
She
it
was
when you
supposed
did with your shit.
She was supposed to go. She was in Paris. And the day before she was going to leave, she was in a designer store, which you can get these bags for like $600 less, right? So she's gonna, and she, all of a sudden she fainted, but she didn't hit her head, and then she went to the doctors or hospital. They said you have COVID, and then the next day, but they were like, they don't like test you or anything. Like she could have gone on the plane. Of course she wasn't going to, but then she just had to stay at the hotel for 5 more days. But she said she wasn't like coffee or anything. She was just like, just extremely tired.
Well, we tested negative when we left Paris, and we tested negative to when we left Barcelona. And it doesn't matter, but I know this. I was in the Barcelona airport, and I was like, I'm going to pass out. But we had already tested negative.
It would all started happening in transit. Already and we already tested negative. By the time we got home, Brandy had to quarantine. We tested positive 2 days later or the next day.
I think 2 days later.
2 days later, because we were both like, why do we feel so bad? And then it got worse and worse. Then we tested positive when we got home, and then we were sick.
But for 27 days,
beyond.
you do with the jade roller. So I want to say, we were sitting with you on a bed. You're rolling your face with the jade roller.
Yeah.
It was less than a week away, and we were like, "Oh, we're going to Europe, and we're gonna go to Paris." And you're like, "When?" We're like 6 days from now, and you're like, "Oh, wow." So like, when do you leave? We're like, "We haven't bought our ticket yet," and I swear, like the jade roller stopped, and I was like, "Yeah." I mean, that
Wow.
was beyond.
Yeah.
But Paris was amazing,
Incredible.
But
Incredible.
So we go to Paris for $1.2 million, and then we
Yep.
we did all this crazy shit. in
Wait, you
Paris.
did the cruise though, right?
That was after.
Okay.
Went to Paris first. Because nobody wants to do anything after a cruise, and you're just like, okay. And also, by the way, COVID. Okay, I'm quite sure that's where we got it, because we had to test to leave Paris.
It was definitely
Okay.
the cruise where we got it.
Okay.
or the airport, 'cause
Or the
we
airport.
tested negative at
Yeah, that's true. Or the airport. It was in Spain.
So we went to this for Julie's birthday. We went to this it's like the Chateau Marmont of Paris. It's like it's the hotel, and then it's this restaurant. And
Awesome.
I knew we'd never sit outside, because that's like only it's so hard to get
Yeah.
Here we are.
of Paris, and they're smoking cigarettes, and we weren't cool enough. It's like, we'll
rich.
take the 5:00 reservation inside. Sure, it didn't matter.
By the way, that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to the 5:00 reservation at Quiet Woman. Go on.
Can't wait.
And it's our every reservation at Craig's. Like every time, it's like, I can get you guys in at 5, and they'll go, oh, is this Julie? And she's like, yeah, girl, I'm a regular. I'm like, a regular at 5. We have never once had an 8 p.m. I'm like,
No.
we'll have sex with Craig, and they're like, yeah, you still can't. And it's like, okay, we've only been there at 5.
here's the front table. It's right behind the hostess station. I mean, but that's fine. That's fine.
Inside this place, this hotel, and it's like well known, this restaurant, it looks really like weird vampires, old,
so cool.
You know, like 18th century Paris. So I knew Julie would love it.
I like
wouldn't
that
care
stuff.
and wouldn't know the difference. Meanwhile, I'm like looking like, where are the fucking cool people? Like, so.
And I was like, who's in the painting in that portrait? Oh, that's old. I love that stuff.
We're there for 2 hours. We leave. We go outside. I mean, we're there for more than 2 hours because it was packed. And when we go outside, Lenny Kravitz and like this, he like pulls up and like it was like a Lambo.
I think it was some sort of Porsche. I thought it was a Porsche.
Well, Julie knows more about cars than me, but
I thought it was
very,
a Porsche
very,
that I had never seen before.
Was he driving?
No.
He had like a rich, like white, but
Were his abs exposed?
They don't need to be exposed because his face and body and everything is an ab. It's one ab got out of the car with looked like a hedge fund manager, but who could also be his manager. And if it's a Porsche you've never seen, let's go ahead and call it a Lambo.
Okay.
Because
all right.
it was
very
beyond.
rich. Yeah, it was beyond.
And I go like this, hey, is this our Uber? Are you guys
Well, he got out of the car. So as we're
standing
walking
there
out,
alone.
he pulls up. The car stops. We're like, who's in the car? Lenny Kravitz gets out onto the thing as we're walking past them.
No, we're standing waiting on the sidewalk.
But he then walks. So he walks out in front of us, I should say. She literally says to him, hey, is this our Uber? And he looked at her and he responded and he was like, and he laughed.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
And then kept walking, and I was like, he was like super into me. Like, obviously, he
Super,
wants to
yeah.
invite us to dinner.
I can't believe you brought him up because let's always make it about me. But
have to.
When Chris and Sarah were here, we talked about wedding songs, and I said that was one of my wedding songs. Was his song "I Belong to You," and you belong to me too. You know that song?
Of course.
You make my life complete. Also, he's never aged.
He doesn't age. He looked
so hot.
He looked so good.
I mean, even Julie was like, oh my God. I'm like,
yeah. I was. I mean, you can't look at that guy and go, he's otherworldly. He just looks so good. He's 55
you could only
years old or
imagine
something.
what he was going to go in there and do through the back patio of that place. I mean, we were just like high fives all around.
He's just so tight. He's so little and so tight. You know what I mean?
Little?
No, he's tall, but he's tight. She means the bod.
Oh, the bod.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was tall. Oh, I didn't.
What? It was at 5'8". Oh, I guess Julie was right.
Yeah, he's like
Proportioned.
Prince-like to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Prince he's got to be 5'4".
That's true. But to me, he's not. He's just,
I had a vision.
I don't
of a God getting out of
Who
the
is
car.
he dating?
Wow.
Lenny Kravitz. Is he with anyone? I know that he obviously was with what's her name. He's the dad of Zoe Kravitz,
And then
and
she got
Lisa
with-
Bonet
Yeah,
was
and
his wife.
she got with Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, and they're like on and off, on and off.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
hasn't been seen dating anyone since 2018, but there's rumors that he has a secret girlfriend.
In Paris.
That makes sense.
Secret girlfriend.
That makes sense.
Or secret girlfriends.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably.
listen.
I mean, I would
I'm
think
talking
so.
about you and Julie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we both did it.
Talking about rich people. How do you feel about all the controversy about the private jet use from the Kardashians to Taylor Swift to, people being like this, the hypocrisy of people that, I mean, some people really scream like I'm for the environment and like, Harry and Meghan and then get on their jets. And then other people like the Kardashians have never really screamed
Ever.
we're overly into the environment.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't
And
think
I mean,
one
not
time.
for nothing. We have a political podcast. It's liberal. But then I'll be like, I hate the Clintons. I hate Al Gore, shit like that. And Al Gore is one of the kings who made his whole, all of his, huge crossover notoriety. And he was a huge private jet user. So,
Well, I'm
I
sure
like
when
it.
we were young, people had private jets. But now it's like so in our world and vernacular and everything because of social media and everything. And so you're right. I think people think like, well, you haven't made it unless you have a private jet, or the fact that influencers would fake. There's ways that you could fake looking like you're going on
Yeah.
a private jet or whatever, or take it close enough. Like, hey, you stand back here and you stand back here and you're walking up the steps and you're like, hey, and people just assume.
You're
But-
at Jet Suite pretending it's a private jet.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If we could if we could go on a private jet, we would.
Right.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be in row 44 and coach and do a layover and have to deal with all the people and all the things. I'm just being honest. If I had the money and could do a private jet, I would do it.
I mean, the times that I have been on
I
a
would do
private
it.
jet was just been a handful. Like if I was performing or something and it was provided for me, I was never like, you know what? Let me go to LAX and wait in line because because also the plane's going already. So if you're the passenger, I guess it's different if you're like, you know,
And they do try and fill it up.
Yeah.
If they're going, they'll get other people to go on to at least not waste. You know what I mean? Kind of like a carpool
I don't
scenario.
know. Listen, I agree. Whatever. It is what it is.
Julie
but
cares about the environment when I tell you, and everything like that. When I tell you we went on Jet Suite and she was like this, I just feel like we're never going to get to go on like a real private jet. I go, well, yeah, obviously this is one. She's like, but will, and I'm like, I feel like we can like once. And this is like something she's like wanting to do.
Are you secreting it?
You want to
Yes, I
experience
want
that.
it.
Okay.
I want
Okay.
it. I want to go. I would like to feel one. You know, there's something about even because it's almost like flying first class. It's not even. I know it's better. I know it's better because when we did Jet Suite X or whatever, it's a whole different hangar. There was barely anyone in there. You walk outside to the plane. There wasn't this thing of all these people. I am getting worse and worse when it comes to groups of people. So the thought of going
crowds.
Yeah, crowds. So the thought of going into a thing where there's just like less people, then you go in a leather seat.
Yeah, she wants to
and
meet
swirl
the
around.
waitress, get the caviar, get the Bellini.
Yeah, I want to meet you, the waitress.
I mean, the flight attendant.
flight attendant.
Every time I've been on it, it's like you have to ask. You decide what the food is. So, like, if you really want the caviar, then you've got to say that, and then you pay for that. Otherwise, it'll be like a variety of little sandwiches and like some bags of chips. But wait, I was going to say that Kim Kardashian, she has her skincare line, and she was pushing that it was like sustainable, like reusable. But it's like the little tube that comes out, it goes into the case that sits on your thing, on your counter. And then when you get another one, you'll take out the whole thing and throw it away and just put a whole nother thing in it.
Oh, so it's really.
It's
That's-
not at all.
that's
In
not
fact,
true.
it's
Yeah.
wasting
that's
more. If they would have just had one thing and not two, not a little place that it's being housed,
Right.
it would be less weight. My point is, if you're not going to go balls to the wall environmental, then just shut your fucking face and
Like,
don't
Agreed.
address it. Like if your product is not going to be able to say
Yeah.
that you're that, then don't say it. And if your product is, then definitely say it, because people, should or will want to feel a little bit better knowing that you do that. But if you don't, zip it.
And also, if someone says they're vegan, even if they're tragic, don't come on and be talking about, do you still wear leather? It's like, there's no way to, it's just let people do the part that they do, their contribution that they do, and like get out of everyone's business. I mean, that's the way I feel. I'm like,
Yeah, that's yeah. I feel like that too. We
All right,
we can only do what we can do. And yes, I want to go on a private jet.
Okay.
well, I'll do it once.
How do you feel? I talked about it a little bit this on the last show, but Demi Lovato is now going by she and her. She was going by they and them, and she says, for now, I am going to take back my original pronouns. For now, I might be trans eventually one day. I might stay a woman. I might go back to they, them. But for now, please call me she and her.
She said she was feeling more feminine.
Oh, she is.
That's what
Yeah.
she said.
I just listen. As a person who has not as a non-conforming gender person,
Okay.
for my whole life,
Man presenting. Also.
I present male, so to speak, and I know this is part of the problem. Why do you have to present? Why does it have to be a label? Blah, blah, blah. Well, at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with labels, and I don't have a problem with gender, and I don't have a problem with the binary system. I just don't. I think that a lot of it is sexist, and I think a lot of it is erasing women, and I don't like it. And I think that if you, as a woman particularly, feel the need to do, which for me is what she was doing, she's struggling. I don't want to fall into this patriarchal system. I don't want to be told what I am. I don't want to. I get that. But there is something for me that is more powerful and more exciting and triumphant when you claim exactly, unless trans is a different thing. If you are claiming your
she wasn't
womanhood,
transgender.
because
She
she's
was
not
she was
transgender,
non-binary or
she's
something.
which is just not to mention you're a person who struggles and exploits different issues, which ultimately is just like a thirst bucket trap. So you're out there. And, you know, I like Demi Lovato's music and whatever, but she's out there
sang
talking
at Paris's
about...
wedding, and then we got really supportive because she sang really well at Paris's wedding, and also we love Paris. So
And you were at Paris's wedding?
we were there, and so then we were just like, you know what, she sang really well, and
She did sing well, but she's not non-binary. And it's just, and I don't mean to say what anyone is or what they aren't, but she's clearly showing what this happens when a person is social mediaing and is trying to get on a train of a thing that they don't truly believe. If you truly, truly believed you're non-binary, you don't flip-flop. You don't go back and forth. You just don't. Someday I'm going to be this. What are you talking about? You think someday I'm going to go be something else? I'm not. I'm this. This is what I am.
But do you think, though, then this does open a conversation.
Sure.
Which a lot of people have been saying on, like, that are these declarations, especially by young kids, something that should be taken as that you declared it, you can't go back. Like maybe the fact that she is like, now I want to use, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's like, it's like saying, hey kids, if you want to be
Change your
something
minds.
right now, just like, don't go get surgery or anything until you're a full-blown adult, because you might change your mind like Demi Lovato. But in the meantime, you want to dye your hair pink. You want to wear a dress.
Great.
You want to not wear a dress. Like, do what you want, but just don't make it a
I
thing.
do. I truly believe in that. And I think fluidity is great. Go back and forth. Try it all on. Try everything.
But that's
you know what
all
I mean?
how you're...
That's presenting.
That's your identity, like like how you dress.
Right.
Then when you're going into how people need to do your pronouns, and the thing with Demi Lovato is she has been at the forefront of like dragging people because they got her pronouns wrong. And I know that Julie and I got our asses up out of bed and went on some show, a good show that we liked, where we talked about Courtney Stodden for a good 20 to 30 minutes. And because we could not stop accidentally calling her she, when Courtney Stodden is now they, them.
But I don't think she goes... I don't...
Exactly.
I don't think Courtney
get ready
goes
to cut
by it
this
anymore.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, at that whole
At
thing
that
got
time,
cut.
and Courtney, to remind you guys, she became famous because she was 16 when she married this like D-list star, and she was all over Entertainment Tonight. She came on my show and told the whole story like a few years ago, and you know, and it was pretty disturbing and everything of like how her parents, and she was like a virgin when she was with this 55-year-old guy. It was, and he would get money for all the interviews that they did on like Inside Edition and all these cheesy, because people are obsessed with the fact that she was like 17 but looked like she was 40. And but now I think she's like engaged. And then she said, I'm non-binary and I'm going by they and them. And then but I want to say, like, I think she just like dropped that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she's pushing it or anything anymore for the same reasons. I think she just...
But my point is that for everyone else who then goes and there's this, it becomes a very heated sort of like online fake social media argument of like, you misgendered her and or them. And it's like, okay, well, that was purely an accident that we called her she twice in an interview. So the whole interview got cut. And then, you know, a year later or 2 months later, you're going to go and be like, I'm back to the pronouns. And it's like...
Which is also a lesson
So
in...
wait, so then that interview never got used?
No.
Right.
And I was like, we did have to get up at 6.
And I want to say
because
this.
the
I
person
also,
that was interviewing you was too afraid to put it out there because you
Because we said she like a couple times.
and I want to say this. I get misgendered every day. Okay?
In real life.
Single day. In real life. In the bathroom, at the counter, in the store, every single day. And the thing that we have to come, and this is my feeling is people have to give people a break. People have to give people a break. They don't mean to come at you with hate, and they're not trying to invalidate me. They're not trying to hate me. They just see a man, and that's what they see. And if it's a binary system they're living in, and if that's, you don't want to conform to it, then fine. But the problem is that it's so contentious, and it's like, how dare you do this? And it's like, no. No one's trying to do any of that. And if it was just like a little more
It sounds hard to
forgiving.
believe, but I've been standing with her and they've handed her credit card back that says clearly Julie Goldman. And they go, thank you, Mr. Goldman. I'm like, that clearly says Julie. But then with the mask, I mean, it doesn't matter how much the tits are out. With the mask, it was a wrap. It was like, bitch, you're a man walking through the grocery store and you better just get into it. Like,
and I am, and I do, and I don't say anything to people unless someone asked me one time. Somebody asked me when I transitioned. When did you transition?
And then
I was like, and I didn't know what to say, and I just thought to myself, in what direction did I think I transitioned to or from? I mean, it's just like this is what all of this is doing. It's making people, and it's just a fluid conversation. It's a fluid situation. It's a fluid thing, and it's individual for each person. And at the end of the day, I don't want anyone dictating to me what I'm supposed to identify as or what words I'm supposed to use. But at the same time, I don't really appreciate when I'm told I'm using my words as violence or I'm doing something to hurt someone when it really is just habit or ignorance or I didn't know or an accident.
I'm glad she went back though, because that takes courage and that's the way this is going to go. Now people can start seeing like, let's all just like ease off a little bit. It's not the end of the world.
It isn't.
Pronouns and words aren't the end of the world. And she's in the same way she was a role model for being like, I'm gonna be non-binary now. She's gonna be like, yeah, I changed my mind, bitch. That's what I did. And it's like, I think she is advancing the conversation.
That's true.
Even through being like a clear thirst clown.
Yeah,
you know. So,
right.
And that is good. And that is good. Maybe that is gonna let people be.
Okay, I also saw this TikTok about how this girl is like found another problematic thing at the store, feminine care aisle. Have you seen this? People are upset that feminine care aisle says feminine care.
What should it say?
Well, she was like, not all women who need a tampon feel feminine, and not all people who feel feminine
are women
get their period.
Right.
And then I was like,
okay.
Well, if we're putting our words, a period, it's the end of the sentence. Why are you calling my menstrual cycle a period? Like I were gonna
right.
But my whole thing is like, all right, then let's just put vaginal bleeding stoppage products.
Yes. Okay,
or refreshers for moistened
smelly pussies.
areas. I mean, I've always thought that feminine products should be like free anyway. But
we always say that they should be free.
But I understand now there's corporations and there's companies and there's competition and this, and there's capitalism. And so, okay, fine, we'll pay for it, whatever. But like, yeah, I mean, I was like, really, now I can't, because I'm offending. But I'm telling you, the pendulum is swinging so much to the other side that like none of this is even going to matter in like 2 years. That's what I think.
And it's so quickly.
Yeah.
And we're just
because it went so to the other side that people were like, now everyone's just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not even addressing your stupid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't such an insufferable way to discuss it, maybe we would wrap our heads around it. I mean, I know, being a part of the LGBTQ community, sometimes you had to, QI, okay. Just at this point, it's just everyone. So it's just everyone, because everyone fucks.
Right.
So it's everyone, and that's fine, and it's everyone. Okay. But like, there's just certain, I don't know. I just feel like there's just certain ways you just talk about anything. And maybe it's just, I don't know. You just try and respect everyone.
Wendy Williams did a brief little quick interview and with the guy from Hollywood Unlocked and said, I'm married to this guy, Henry, and he's an NYPD officer.
What?
And then her main person that like is still helping her like try to get her Amex card back or her accounts or whatever.
Poor Wendy.
He said on to page 6, no, she's not married. She is in a new relationship, but she may have overspoke. So then the Hollywood Unlocked guy called Wendy and was like, well, now you make me look like an idiot because this guy says, and she's like, oh, fuck him. He doesn't know. I am married. He just, doesn't want me to be.
Did you hear was it verbal or was it?
No, verbally.
So you heard it?
Yes.
How does Wendy sound?
Not great. And then she said, she goes about this guy, she goes, he wants to put me on podcast. I don't know what podcast. And that's the way the interview ended.
But podcast. Deep. Now, let me ask you something, a tough question. how does she sound compared to reading Britney Spears' Instagrams?
I mean, I think they're, I don't know. I think they're on the same page.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
there's
saying
a
this.
lot going on with
Look,
both of them.
she called it Cornova. This was 2 years ago. She called Corona Cornova.
Who did?
Wendy Williams.
On her show?
And it was, we will say nothing other than Cornova. And we have a listener whose name's Aaron Cordova. And we only call him Aaron Cornova. Like, we're like, where's Aaron Cornova? Cornova virus. She called it Cornova virus in front of a full audience. Like, I don't think it's fair that somebody builds an empire, and if they want to go off and turn into whatever they want to do and live under the freeway, and it's like I'm not going to say that Britney Spears should be out of conservatorship and Wendy Williams should not get her Amex card. Like, I don't think that's fair. Of course, I don't think they should leave her to kill herself, but like, if she can't get a hold of money, I'm personally not supportive of that. Wendy Williams built that empire.
No,
and I
of
believe
course.
it should have gone to you, and it didn't, so I'm fine that it's canceled. But other than that, she should have her money.
No, of course, this whole thing with the money, I don't understand it. I don't understand how the bank is keeping money from her. I don't know if, in fact, they are. Maybe they're not keeping money from her. I don't know.
Is that husband?
But obviously,
they're giving it to her child, probably, which is good.
She said she's still talking to her child, but all the rest of her family she doesn't want near her.
the
And
parents don't.
obviously, the show, her parents?
She was close with her parents, and I'm pretty sure that they died.
Oh, well, I mean, I think she means like her brother. There's a brother
Yeah.
that has spoken
Isn't there a
out about her.
sister, too?
Like,
Not
I
husband.
just think that the Wendy Williams show tried very, very hard and gave her a lot of time. And then they realized there's just no way to do the show anymore.
Oh,
there
was
that
because
with her as the star.
Yeah, no, I think they were bringing, and I thought that was all great, and we love that whole. We just went as an audience, and we lived, but we did know people that worked on there, like personally, who got us the tickets, and we wanted everyone to keep their jobs. We didn't want the show to go off, and we enjoyed like all the guest hosts. I mean, I've enjoyed like Leah Remini. I thought was funny. Michael Rappaport. We wanted you to do it, even though it's like we wanted you to take that show over, honestly, but the show didn't do that to her. Her ex-husband, I'm quite sure, and whoever deals with her estate is who the show doesn't control her money.
The whole thing is, though, in the timeline, the husband was cheating her on the whole time, and she, that was very heartbreaking, and there were always rumors about it, and not until it came out that he was going to have this mistress's baby did she finally then have to divorce him. Then she was great. Like, I went on the show after that. She was happy. She was alert. Everything was great. And she's like, I'm coming out to LA. I want to like date.
She was, like,
and all
dating.
this stuff.
That's
She was
right.
all excited. Then the two movies came out. The one that was her scripted movie where this girl played her, like a Lifetime movie, about her whole life, how she got into radio, how she met Kevin Sr., the cheating, everything in like a dramatic Lifetime way. Then she also, at the same time, was part of a documentary where she shared all of that. And in part of that, she shared that she has the Graves' disease and like this stuff with her legs where she has to put like these compression stuff on. And how she loves to eat caviar with Doritos. Okay. And that's like, just get to like, she's like, it's a little ghetto party in your mouth is what she said. And all that was fine.
That sounds good.
And then
Incredible.
somewhere
That's good.
between that and COVID,
Yeah,
and then she came back for like a tiny bit, and then she had to take another break, and then that was it. So it's not like everything was tied up and done with the husband, and she was like living her life and having fun, and then somewhere in
of her
between.
estate that isn't giving her the Amex card. What I mean is that's not the show.
Where it's all confusing.
Yeah.
Like we don't really know.
We wanted the show to keep going and still do, and her to continue making money off it with another host. And I don't believe, whether it's on or off, anyone should keep her Amex card from her. She made that money. She needs to be able to flame out as hardcore as she wants.
Well, I guess all the times that they had Wendy Williams YouTube and all the clips that they'd put on, apparently that's all gone.
What?
They just, because the company removed it. Whoever placed it, put it up there, could remove it. She doesn't own herself on Wendy Williams.
Wow.
And
That's a bummer.
yeah. So
Well, you know what? Her new husband wants her to go on podcasts. Beep.
yeah.
I don't know what that podcast. Beep.
and he's an NYPD.
Officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So, okay, going on. Let's see what else I want to talk. Will Smith did his apology video, and I just want to do a little follow-up because I talked about it, and I just said, I think it's kind of a smart way to go when you've been canceled and you want to get your story out, to just interview yourself. That's all I said. People thought I was too soft on him. They thought he was like not really apologetic, that he's a narcissist, that he made it about himself, that he's like, oh, Chris Rock isn't ready to talk to me right now, which made him feel like, made himself the victim again, and they weren't having it. And they thought I was being too nice about it. All I said is, like, PR-wise, if you're in that position, it might be a better way, but I also feel like it didn't get as much buzz as I thought. You thought I got a lot of buzz? I kind of thought would have gotten more if someone was interviewing him. I'm just glad. I just think Jada must be pissed that they did not Red Table. I was so ready for it to be Red Table, but maybe because everybody was is why they didn't. But what did you think of
You're 1,000% right that it was a genius marketing. I mean, we know Will Smith has a hugely popular YouTube with the workout. Like, we were like super into his like, I'm fat now, and like in the pandemic. And Julie's like, I'm going to do his workout, and he's just, and we love Will Smith. And marketing wise, it was great. I don't know why. I mean, I hope they can all hear my eye roll, and I don't care. We don't. The reason people are acting like he's being the victim is because Chris Rock reframed the narrative and said, oh, everyone has to be the victim, and now he's the victim. And it's like, well, Chris Rock's just mad that he doesn't get to still keep being the victim and still keep going on his stand-up tour that he left for one day after he got slapped in the face.
And his ticket sales went way up, and all of his ticket sales are going way up, and he's adding more dates, and he's milking the shit at his stand-up show. I mean, if anyone, to me, and listen, you know, people can be mad at this or not.
Yeah,
people can be mad at this or not, but Chris Rock exploited the shit out of that. And he still is.
And the one time Will Smith tried to make $1 on it and make his YouTube video, which is great marketing, you're 100% right, and nobody's going to know better than you, and that's all you said, and you were right. The second Will Smith was like, you know what, fine, I'm going to make my money, and I still already got my $100 gazillion movie coming out. Chris Rock has to go immediately and be like, oh, everybody has to be a victim. And it's like, and everybody, I mean, period, end of story. Chris Rock is mad. He's not still the one getting all the attention. And Will Smith might be the, you know, the Housewives villain for now, but he'll never remain the Housewives villain because people love Will Smith and Chris Rock's fucking annoying. So,
wow.
We were happy. Honestly, I know people are going to be mad, but we were.
No, I think it's actually a really great perspective. I think that's why we talked about this whole thing so much. There were so many elements. There was the Chris Rock element, the Will's element, his Jada's element, the joke element, the comedian element. It's a lot of layers, but you're right. I mean, look, sometimes something bad happening to you, in your own mind, before you even say it to anybody, you're like, I think I could fake a positive out of this. Like, you know, like, and especially when you're in show business.
And we're living in a time where, I mean, we are just here for, even we say offensive stuff and we are ready to be slapped at any time walking into the grocery store. I'm like, somebody's going to come up and slap me. Even from this exact thing I just said, I'm going to be ready. We are here for like, people get doxxed. People get death threats for like, you know, simply like, I mean, like Beyonce said spaz in her
song.
Right. And it's like she's being the level of people getting offended. So, okay, you know, you said something, whatever triggered him and he felt humiliated. I'm not saying slapping someone is the right way to go. What I'm here for is consequences. And like, you know, we deserve to get slapped and we most likely will, you know?
You know what my son Brandon said? He goes, do you think one day there'll be like people my age will be like grandmas and be like, the day I got James Charles canceled was the strongest moment of my life. Like what's going to be their like war story? Like, it's so that time that my tweet got retweeted and we got this person to lose a podcast sponsor. Like,
I mean, ultimately, the interesting thing to me about Will Smith and Chris Rock is that they were two men of the same
level.
They were the same level, the same success, power. Nobody had more power. Nobody had, and you could say that maybe Will Smith has more money, but physically speaking, man-wise, these two guys, they are the same. Nobody got raped. Nobody got Me Too'd. Nobody had to suck anybody's dick. Nobody was forced in a corner. Nobody was anything. They were two men and one got slapped. And at the end of the day, it's
who cares?
Not, you know, who cares? I actually don't care. And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right with Will Smith,
No.
but I have to be honest with you. As a person who isn't a huge fan of Chris Rock, I wasn't that mad.
Okay.
So,
and I just want to say,
it's a horrible thing to say, but
we are definitely going to be dragged and slapped for this, and we deserve it, and that's fine. But we only talked about this deep on our own Patreon.
we went in deep.
But the thing is, I feel like with the Oscars, like they sit there and their camera's in your face and the red light's on, and someone's kneeling in front of you with the camera. For minutes, they could be there for 10 minutes, and you're like this, oh God, what's this joke going to be? What's this joke going to be? Because if they're there with the camera kneeling in front of you, you're the butt of a joke coming up in someone's thing. And it's like, oh God, you could see like Maggie Gyllenhaal, she had like a sweat stash and like Jake Gyllenhaal. And they made a joke about like, I don't even know what it was, but it's pretty funny. And Maggie Gyllenhaal laughed and Jake didn't, but
them dating or something.
yeah, them being like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right.
But they sat in front of Will Smith, and he's so used to just smiling, and he's so good, and he's such a professional in terms of that. And so he laughed at first.
Yep.
Because he was ready to laugh at anything.
Yep.
Because the camera's been kneeling there. For me, my problem was with the Oscars. I'm like, you're whack, you're boring, you exploit everyone, you want to sit there and drag everyone in the audience, and you don't pay them to be there, and they sit there for hours on end, and then you make fun of them. And yeah, this is what happened to you, and I put it on them. And I just think this is where we're going.
Something happened. Something, I don't think it had, I don't know what it was with Will Smith. He was on, whatever instability got triggered. I mean, and who knows what it is. And maybe it was the past of Chris Rock pummeling them all the time and on his Instagram and being cunty. Chris Rock was cunty to them for years. And who knows, on their Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And he'd go on their Instagram and be like, make comments. And it was just like,
Just make fun of them.
Something is going on here that's
That was
personal,
bigger, yeah.
that none of us really know. And Will Smith snapped. Whether Chris Rock got with Jada or Chris Rock got with Will, something happened.
A lot of people, including us, like make a lot of fun of like Will Smith and Jada Smith. You
Right.
know? Like we do.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
with
and it
their
can't
open
be
marriage
easier.
and everything.
Yeah, and also like, is he in the closet? Like we've made so many rude, dismissive comments about Will Smith and his sexuality and stuff, and then entanglements, and that's fine. But like, they're still
Human
people,
beings.
even if they're egomaniacs, like. Yeah, it's hard to sit amongst your peers and be like, man, we're being like made fools of here.
Humiliated
Like,
all the time. So I don't know what it was. We just have to come to terms to think like there's something we don't know that man went up and slapped another man.
Well,
Something happened.
One of the other things that came up that I was going to talk to you about is Kenan from SNL had said maybe SNL should end in like a couple years when it's 50 years. So it'll be a 50-year thing.
Wow.
And then he said, and that way they could end it and they could start a whole nother show with like a lesser budget and like save money. I don't know why he said that, but the point is like, and my first thought was like, so many people can do their own sketches now and all this stuff. But then I went back and I go, you know what? We need SNL because we're not going to make movie stars from TikTok. TikTok people are great.
Yeah.
But like you almost like SNL is like a training camp for like comedic actors and to make them stars. And if nothing else, they should keep that show going because it's like this little like graduate school.
Yeah.
Almost.
Especially for the guys.
It should be seen.
it's an institution.
No, but it's like
the Oscars.
Like, where do you get that kind of training?
That
You're
is
not going
true.
to get it alone in your house doing funny impressions.
No.
Like you could do the funniest impressions. You could have 10 million people following you on YouTube and live in a big mansion. But you cannot play off each other unless you have those hours of like working on an actual show with
That's
other
true.
humans. So like we need people like that so that that they then can do movies because we're always going to want movies and we're always going to want series, even though people consume. Drake watches entire movies on TikTok now.
Really?
Yeah, someone will take a movie and film it and make it like
I thought they were only 20 seconds
150
long.
parts.
150
Oh, you have to
parts.
go like you have to swipe and swipe and swipe.
Yeah.
my
I mean,
God.
like, people are just
Wow.
so, like,
Wow.
they're just consuming stuff differently. Because you're laying on your bed and you're watching something, and I'm like, I know I should turn this off and actually turn on the real TV or turn on, a streaming thing and watch a real show. But I'm like, I'm
going to continue to watch Trisha Paytas singing "Shallow" in her kitchen from 7 years ago. And then like, why am
Which
I
is one
watching
of the best things ever done
videos
on the
from
planet.
2013?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what should get canceled is TikTok. But I mean, I feel like it's funny that he said that they should lower their budget because I feel like
Our budget's already so low. Those
like
people get paid the worst of anyone.
the actors
And then
get
speaking
paid
of
well.
like shitty content, okay, Gwyneth Paltrow went on Hailey Bieber's Come Into My Bathroom like YouTube premium show where she sits in a bathroom, but it's like there's like a table and
Bigger
chairs
than
in
my
it.
home.
Yeah, it's table and chairs in it. It's a full staff because there's people chuckling in the back. And there, someone was like, "We're going to have you do an interview," and they put on a eye mask and ask Gwyneth Paltrow, "What is she smelling? What is she tasting?" And I'm like, the person was like, "We need to do something like that hot chicken wings interview show. What's going to be Hailey Bieber's?" And she is, a daughter of a famous family. Gwyneth Paltrow, a daughter of a famous family. Everybody's in their like muted colors and come out. And it was so fucking boring. It was so boring. But then the headline was like, Gwyneth Paltrow said to Hailey Bieber, "I fucked your dad in the bathroom." She meant she did a movie, a small independent movie with Hailey Bieber's dad one time, and their characters apparently had sex in a bathroom.
because her father's Baldwin.
Yeah.
But which one?
Alec.
No.
No, her dad is
Bill-
is the
Billy.
super Christian.
Steven. Her dad's like the least Baldwin.
Yeah.
Steven.
Oh, wow.
And so
Or Billy. I don't know. Billy's not. It goes.
So,
Alec,
but I mean,
Billy,
everyone's
Steven.
going to read it thinking, "Oh my God, they dated, or they must have dated." How did
Right.
she say that to her? I'm
Right.
like, we watched it, and it was like, "Oh, I was in this small independent film with your dad." And actually, what if I said I fucked him in the bathroom? Did you? No, but we acted in this one thing. But what if I had? That would be weird. So, tell me about your favorite smoothie. And I was like, "That's it."
There's
I'm
so
like,
much there's all that clickbait though.
Yeah.
I'm
They
like,
love
okay,
doing
but
that.
500,000 people watched it. So you sat through Gwyneth Paltrow talking about a mint date smoothie she made.
Yeah, you're like, I had to free join the subscription of YouTube Premium for 10 days just to see
mean,
that.
yeah,
Meanwhile,
how
I
dare.
object, Your Honor. Nobody takes food into a bathroom. That makes me want to barf. I won't even take coffee.
Well, it's a set.
I do
Still,
take coffee.
It's a
still
bathroom
supposed to be a
set.
bathroom. I think that's a misfire. Like, come on, let's
I do take
Anyway,
coffee.
I'm not-
I
eat
take coffee
the
in
chicken
bathroom.
wings in the bathroom. No, I don't
I
think
would.
so.
I would do it. I would do it.
I mean,
I would eat
okay.
anywhere. Also, by the way,
Yes.
why is there every million show that has to be like a thing of like two people talking at a counter? What happens? You know what I mean? Two people in a bathtub. It's real. We're just in a car. Tune in. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just like, what? It's comedians in the cars with coffee.
Yes.
This one in the bathroom. Joan Rivers had the thing in the bed.
Because of the-
More people have the thing in the bed.
Because
like,
it's the chicken wing thing. It's like trying to like what works. Like, okay, we're gonna talk in my pool.
yeah, exactly.
Like, just to
two
give a
pals in
hook
a
because
pool.
everybody is just talking on a podcast. So then they're like, how do we give it a hook of like whatever? It's so dumb.
So
and then
dumb.
like,
There's
oh,
so many different things of it. It's just like we're in a hallway. Tune in. You know what I mean? We're station wagon talking.
Yeah.
Who's next? Just we don't need.
Right.
We're talking. So
We're gonna do electric bike.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
Julie would do that. Like, what kind of electric bike is? But when I tell you, her and Peter, like, I fell asleep like on the counter when they went so deep into electric bikes. I was like, how much?
It's like, what kind is it? Does it look like a
I
dirt bike
can't.
or is it like a
I
mountain
have to
bike?
live
He's
it
like, with
already.
Drake and I, we drove up to the top of the thing, and I was like, oh my God, where's Heather? I'm alone with these two.
It's so boring. Did you guys ever watch Euphoria?
No.
No, because we live it and do drugs all the time. So
Okay.
no, it's for children who do drugs.
So
and,
anyway,
you know,
this
it's not for
girl
us.
in Euphoria, her name's Sydney Sweeney. She's a very good actress. She was also in White Lotus. And anyway, some people were divided over her complaining that she doesn't get paid enough to take a 6-month break from acting. Again, when I read the article, I was like, cut this girl some slack. What she basically was saying is that she'd very much like to be a mom. But right now, she feels she cannot that actually acting doesn't make as much money as people think, and she could not take off that much time being pregnant and having a baby. I also thought it was like a little bit diss to the boyfriend of like, well, this one over here didn't make enough, you know. But anyway, I just was like, to someone's standard, yeah. If your mortgage is a big mortgage and you have a big expensive car lease, and you're like, I do need to make this much a year to keep it. Yes, to that person, No,
Well, literally-
they wouldn't be homeless, but would they maybe have to move? Would they maybe go in debt? Yes, that's all she's saying.
Literally,
And she just wanna
regardless
keep it
of
going.
who you are, I mean, what station you are, I can't afford to stop and be pregnant, said every woman ever in the history of the world. Like,
Right.
literally no one can afford to be like, you know what, I can take 9 months off easily, and then after that, when I want to be a mom for a couple of years, like, women constantly will go like, man, what am I going to do? Like, I'm going to have to work when I'm falling asleep at my desk and I'm
Right.
like vomiting. And then when I have the baby, I have to go back after however many 8 weeks, and I'm pumping in the bathroom and people are knocking and my tits in some kind of machine and like,
Yeah.
getting it's so hard for women to have kids, and we all have to work. And it is men's fault. And we should all side eye and be like, go make some fucking money so I can go do what I want, which is fake have a kid and have surrogate have a kid and make them do the breast pumping.
2 women pumping and talking. Huh? 2 women pumping and talking. What do we talk about? We're moms.
my
We're moms
God.
pumping. Can you believe this?
I
Oh my
even-
God.
I mean,
Can you believe?
Even Meghan McCain, our good friend, all three of us, Meghan McCain said that was like one of the most stressful things. Like, and I know that's true because I've seen it all the time. I've faked it on commercials. Like, I've gone up. They never want to tell you any information when you work on a set, and you know this.
Yeah.
It's so can I see like how many scenes do we have before, like, I'm always like before wrap and lunch, and they don't want to give the information, so I'm always like, I just need to pump. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, every time. And they're like, let me get you a shot list. I'm like, thank you. Because they never want to give the information. And it's like, Meghan McCain said she would be sweating and pumping, and it's a live show. And she was so stressed out and like in the stall, like the public stall. And just, it was like one of the most stressful, like, and she felt like a failure, and like I just really related to, like, without even having kids, like the feeling of
Well, I
like,
highly doubt that like Joy Behar would be nice to her about it. Like, it's like, oh, what? Who cares? Give him the bottle. Who cares? Like, yeah.
What are you doing in there?
your whole shirt's leaking with like your tit milk. And she was really stressed out. And I know women do that all the time at work. Like, they have a meeting and they're like, and it's a huge machine. I don't know if it's huge, but it's like,
Right.
Did you pump or no?
No, I tried, and after like one day, he had lost all this weight, Drake, and we had the machine, and it wasn't like coming out. Now a lot of people say, "Don't give up; it'll come out in a couple days or whatever," and so they gave us these little cute bottles from the place, and Peter's like, "Let's just give him this," and I was
Aw.
like, "No, then he'll never want my boob," and I'm like, finally, I'm like, "All right," he's crying and crying, he's starving, he's lost 6 ounces, and I give him the little Similac. And it was like, and you just drink it up. And I'm like, that's it. I do not need this stress in my life.
No.
Anyone
See?
can feed him. Fuck it.
I've been
And then-
dieting for 2 weeks and I can't lose 6 ounces. And I just want to say that.
And I keep trying to give her a tit. Never takes it. The whole time. She won't ever take the tit. Believe me, I've tried it. Fucking,
No, so
at some point you just got to give up. You just got to give up at some point.
And
And
she's
then I was
right.
like, then I had to tell my mom, and I'm like, dude, don't tell anyone. Don't make a big deal. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it, Mom.
See?
Like, I'm not
There's
going to
so much
breastfeed.
shame around it.
There shouldn't
And
be
then,
any
and then I went
shame.
to the store, and this woman comes up to me. She's like, "Hi, congratulations on the baby. I talked to your mother. I heard the breastfeeding didn't work out." And I'm like, "What? Like, why?" And then I would fake it, like at a restaurant or something. You know, I'd be like faking it because I would put the baby under me, but there'd be a bottle there. But I'd act like it was biting my nip. And I'd be like, "Ah!"
Ugh, the way he latches on.
And then I was like, "Oh,
Awful.
fuck! Now I can't order a margarita because like now I'm pretending to be a breastfeeding
Yeah.
mom."
You're like, I'm going to pump and dump. Don't worry.
Point is, everyone will be just fine. They don't need to.
And everyone
she-
has the right to their own time, their own timeline, what is right for them. I mean, that is the point of
And
choosing.
this girl was right. Ultimately, even though she may sound whatever, she's absolutely right. She can't. Even though I did just watch the girl in the picture, and she managed to have 3 kids and maintain a full stripping career all before 20. And I was like, I don't know how one strips when they're 8 months pregnant, but yeah. So I think it's a struggle for every woman, and I'm glad she's talking about it. And
Yeah.
actors don't make as much as people think.
No.
They
No.
just don't.
No.
And she should have a baby when she feels she wants to have a baby, and that's it.
Well, she said she did want to have one.
Well, she's not ready. If she,
Anyway,
that's it.
Teens in India are reportedly using flavored condoms to get high.
How? Do they sniff them?
I guess it's like something in it. I don't know, Annie. You tell me what. I just remember. Remember the trend that was going on where people would like take tampons and soak it in vodka and shove it up their vaginas and get drunk at a party? Teenagers.
No, but that sounds kind of fun. Yeah.
You can hold on a second. Wait a minute. You can soak a tampon with vodka and put it in, and you get drunk.
Yes, that was a trend.
Does it do anything to your vagina? Yeah. Does it dry it out?
Yeah.
It's in your bloodstream and it's like bad for you or something.
Because does it do anything to like the area?
It's got to.
Sounds like Annie might have done it.
Yeah.
Annie.
I'm not. It could kill you.
I mean,
It could kill you?
Well, maybe it's like toxic shock too.
Can you imagine?
They're boiling the condoms and then drinking the water. And it gets
Ew, gross. That's like latex.
They're boiling the condoms.
And then they drink the water.
And there's something in the condom that will get you drunk. God, let's go get some wine coolers.
I mean, honestly.
Are there no Bartles and James
is it
in India?
fun to get that drunk?
And also, like, and you're drinking some gross condom tea. Like, this is fun, guys. Do you feel anything yet?
Yeah.
A little tingly.
Yo, I got some Magnums. What are we going to do with them? We're going to boil them and drink the water.
Yeah.
That's like a whole
That sounds
to-do as
hot.
well. Like, it's like making
That
like
sounds
pop
gross.
brownies. Like, okay, who has the time?
I don't want to boil condoms and drink the condom water. I can tell you that. It's the last thing I'll do.
Do you want to talk a little bit about reality shows?
Please, because God knows we have to cut the Chris
first,
Rock
have
part.
you heard of this show? What did you say? We have to what?
I said, please, because God knows we have to cut the Chris Rock part. I'm like, well, I'm like planning
Wait,
being dragged to shit.
have you heard about the show, The Most Hated Man on the Internet?
Yes, we both have seen a preview for it.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it yet. I'm slightly scared because I feel like I might go into a full rage.
No, it's like it's. I mean, you can't believe that this happened. Which was this guy. Well, basically, this girl took some, self nudes of herself to she sent it to one boyfriend. Another girl never sent it to anybody. And then this guy started a website called Is Anyone Up? And all of a sudden, she's getting noticed that these nudes are up on this website, like with her name and her Facebook attached. And sometimes it would be that the ex-boyfriend sent it to the guy and then he would post. But then they realized that no, he actually had hired a hacker that would hack girls' phones. And so imagine taking a photo and you never shared it with anybody and it's out there. Not that should, make it any less bad. But anyway, so the guy, what was so weird is the guy was girls loved him and wanted to be in his night.
Was he good looking?
He was kind of cute, but it was so gross. And the whole time he has this girlfriend who's I was his girlfriend. But meanwhile, he's going to nightclubs and having his events and filming girls doing lines off of his penis and stuff. And I was like, well, wait, does he still have this girlfriend? And anyway, then this one mom goes after them all.
I remember that story of that guy being crazy at the clubs.
Yeah, and people wanted to be around him and everything and just thought it was great and that he was the god. And I just couldn't believe that they posted these girls, not only Facebooks, but would give their addresses and stuff. And nobody ever went to their house or anything, but they would torture them online to the point where they're I got to get rid of my Facebook. I'm terrified, this or that. And then this one mom goes after them. And it's 3 episodes. It's on Netflix.
Did you like it?
Ever since I saw this clip of Conan O'Brien saying with all these documentaries, you ever feel they're about 4 episodes too long? And ever since that's in my head, I'm all right, just get to it. What happened? I mean, it's good, but I don't know. The fact that it can't happen anymore. I mean, there's a couple cool parts. It wasn't my favorite one. I wasn't oh my God, riveted like other ones.
Did you feel satisfied? Did he get his just desserts?
Yes. I mean, he did some time for it and he was going to be part of it, which he seemed to love the fame so much. I was I can't. But then in the end, they said at the very end, he said, no, I don't want to be part of this documentary.
Oh, interesting.
I've become an expert on, and I mean, I'm good on, I can fast forward. I can watch 10 episodes in 2 hours because I can cut the bullshit. And literally last night I was watching the show. It's on Apple Plus called Bluebird. I don't know. It's
Blackbird.
Yeah, I think. And it's it with Taron Egerton or whatever. It's a scripted, but it's a true crime thing. It's 7 episodes. And I'm first of all, this is a movie that you have now turned into a 7-hour to do. And there's a 20-minute scene of music and this guy walking through a cornfield. And I'm like, are they seriously showing this for 20 minutes and walking through a cornfield? Like, I gotta go. Like, this is a movie. You could have done this in 2 hours. Like, maybe it's a long movie, but it's not a drawn out 7-hour scripted thing of like, gets very repetitive. They want to make episodes. They're too long.
Yeah.
They're movies. They need to cut. Except for the girl in the picture, which in fact needed to be 10 hours. And I had to spend a full day on Reddit going, I'm sorry, which kid was born when? And I like end up in a Reddit thing where my questions weren't answered.
And isn't it also weird that like growing up, we never had documentaries to watch?
No.
And now that's all we watch.
Yep.
And it's like they literally will take a podcast and then make it a documentary. Like I found this other thing called like what is it called? It's called like Generation Hustle. And each episode is like a 2-hour
we watched
thing.
that.
But one was Hollywood Con Woman.
We watched that
I'm like,
one.
I already
Yeah.
listened to that podcast.
Yep.
So why would I need to see this?
Exactly.
Yep.
And
No,
like the
exactly.
Jinx or whatever that show was 14 different things.
And the staircase.
Yeah.
The staircase
Yeah.
is 42 different
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
It's a documentary. It's a movie. It's a series. It's just like we know. Well, again, two people talking under a staircase. It's just the same thing. It's like
two dead people, two murderers meeting
dead
under
people.
a staircase.
Yeah. One lady got hit by bats and she's dead, and her husband talking under a staircase. It's just that they try and just like milk these things.
Do you follow Bethany Frankel on Instagram or
No.
Twitter? TikTok?
Kind of. I
know.
mean, I would say like I saw when yes, I do. Yes, on Twitter.
Jeez.
But the algorithm controls me, so it only pops up when her shit's like really trolly.
So she's just like in the Hamptons right now, and she's just like, giving tips about where you should go in the Hamptons because that's relatable. And she's like, I'm going to talk to you about the most expensive farmer's market in the Hamptons. And let me tell you, it's fucking worth it. There's a Gestapo soup. I know I'm saying it wrong.
A Gestapo soup?
Yeah.
Gazpacho.
That will knock your tits off. Drink it with a straw, stick it up your vagina, put it anywhere you want it. It's so delicious. And you know what? They have these pre-made salads, which that I read in the comments are like $35 each.
The
and she's like,
soup was
but eat it that day because no one wants old quinoa. Nobody wants it. Okay, eat it with a fork. Eat it with your hands. Just eat this fucking
Eat it
thing.
with a
Get your
cone.
ass over to the Hamptons at this farmer's market with Chef Gio or whatever. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
That's like the farmer's market where Barefoot Contessa used to shop.
Yeah.
It definitely has to be the one. So like Bethany's 100 years late and also 100 miles away from everyone. Like, okay, I'll pop right over and get the gazpacho that costs $150 and drink it with a straw.
And I'll
through
make
my
sure
vagina.
to eat that salad with a fork.
Okay, and then someone sent this to me, and they're like, "What do you think?" And it's she and her daughter, because she won the case. So the daughter, I guess maybe the daughter's 13, so she can like be on the show. And the daughter's be on the Instagram,
Wow.
and her husband was crazy, and I'm happy that, and I
Yeah.
think they have a nice mother-daughter relationship. But she goes, "This is," and she says this kid's name, who looks like a 6'3", gorgeous, tan, blue-eyed model. You've never heard of him because you've heard of me, meaning like he's killing it with a younger generation, but because you've heard of me. But let me just tell you something: we're going to collide, okay? And he speaks to an entirely different generation. He's a social media influencer. His mom is a nurse. His dad works in a steel mill, and he's from a town of 6,000 people. He went from studying to be a nurse, and the pandemic catapulted him to an unexpected instant fame. He is smart. He's a smart young man, an artist and a fisherman, a thrill and adventure seeker who's a great older brother figure to Bryn and feels like the son I never had.
What?
Okay.
Something's
Why is she even bothering? What?
because he has a
Because
successful
he's
TikTok.
because he's a huge social media person. They're going to do something together, and it's going to get her
I
It's
see.
like when Kourtney Kardashian was hanging out
with Addison Rae.
Yeah.
It's exactly
is
that.
the guy huge on TikTok or YouTube?
Probably.
Is he hot?
It's I am Griffin Johnson. You're welcome.
Exactly.
But like, I just was like, we come, and then she goes on, and she's like, we come from totally different worlds. Oh, why? Because his mom is an educated nurse, and his dad is a
Dad was a
skill
steel
worker. Like, why is that such a big thing?
Whoa.
So that's the charity work that Bryn and Bethany are doing. They're taking in the steelworkers kid
To
who
go
has
help with the floods.
10.3 million followers, way more than she does, and inviting them to the greatest farmers market on earth. Oh my God! Let me tell you, this kid. He grew up in a steel mill.
He has never eaten a salad.
He's never had quinoa.
Never, ever one time has he had a salad that was fresh.
This cherry tomato, I'm telling you, Griffin's eyes fell out of his head.
Fell out.
Out of his head. We're going to do a TikTok about it.
Oh my God. He only eats salads that are in the fridge for 2 days.
Yeah. And he didn't even know. He's the son I never had. Don't tell his mother that. But actually, she's a lovely person. And I'm going to tell her about the best, because the other thing she does is she does like little testers of like, she's like, let me tell you what, and she does like a filter. She looks beautiful. And she's like, look at this product. This is from Pixie Wixie at CVS. Glowing face, $2.99, just as good as Laura Mercier. Take your Laura Mercier, shove it up your asshole, move the fuck on, get your ass over to the Piggly Wiggly and get this cream. And like, their whole thing is like, oh my God, Bethany, like you take the time from your Hamptons day to tell me what kind of Wet n Wild lip gloss to get. Like, oh my God, your heart, and you took in this boy, this steel mills child.
Rich, successful, this hugely successful. Thank you for letting him to your Hamptons guest house.
God,
so wonderful.
Like, oh my God,
She's
just
so
everything
charitable.
you do. Like the fact, and she's like, we're going to be doing a lot of things together. He's going to learn from me. I'm going to learn from him. And we're 2 generations that are going to blow up the fucking TikTok world. Like, oh.
Wow. It's going to just change the world. It's going to change the world.
Do you think she's going to go anywhere near that Legacy show or Bravo?
No.
The Peacock can't afford her.
I mean, honestly, financially, you know, she's rich as fuck. She let us know that. She said she was the richest housewife that's ever been approached by Andy at her home. Wow. And I don't know. I don't know that she would, but I kind of feel like maybe she'll go back and forth just to stay relevant and have people be like, oh my God, I do love her. She is funny. She is. I mean, when she's with those women, she really is superior in clever wise, in like being she's interesting. Most of these Real Housewives and most of these reality shows in general are not that interesting one-on-one. They're just really not. Like they're, but she is. I mean, she's smart. She's clever.
She's
funny.
She's really funny.
She's funny.
There's
so
like
it's
5 of them
she's
that
really
are
funny.
hilarious,
Yes.
and she's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I mean,
Yeah.
and there's a handful that I'm like friendly with for that reason. But then there's a bunch that I have interviewed over the years where I'm like, I don't want to sit at a bar alone with you and get a drink. Like, I've already got all the info I need from you, and the actual just talking about life, like you're not that. But that's why we're gonna throw you on a zip line and have you go on a horse that shits in the water and like walk around, and now you're gonna like you know, jump around and then do a question.
Go whitewater rafting.
Who's
drunk.
the thirstiest housewife? And you have to answer and get in a fight and throw. You know,
You're playing like pillow talk, and everyone's wasted, and then he gets into a fight.
Because if
like,
you were truly like interesting and fun, we wouldn't have to do 12 activities.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we could just see you sitting around talking. Yeah, so I don't know about that legacy thing. The legacy is the old G one, and then the new generation.
Legacy is going to be on, and that's not the name of it, but it's going to be on Peacock. They basically took all the New York housewives who were all fired, I guess, and then are going to put them on Peacock and completely recast that show because they have to.
So wait, the old one is going to be on Peacock, like the older women. So they're literally Peacock is now putting you out to pasture.
Yes.
The P stands for pasture.
That P stands for for problematic.
Oh, okay. Maybe
So then you did some shit. The audience is demanding you be fired, which they do about everyone because the audience is,
But then they say it's so boring, we hate the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Bravo's going to take the people that the thing is, like with Ramona, like, she's stepped in some shit, but like there is no firing her, hands down. And she said it on Girls
let me
Trip.
tell you about this shit that I said. Okay, you know what? I hadn't been feeling great on the trip. Okay, with the girls, and I was wearing a bathrobe. Okay, and I didn't have any panties on, and I didn't realize it, but I had a little rumbling in my stomach, and a tiny little Hershey chick fell out on the floor. Okay, and I didn't realize the
like shit on the
cameraman was
stairs.
going to zoom in on it. Actually, I thought it was really cool. I really called Andy. I said, "You really hurt me a lot." Okay, because I mean, I don't know what your asshole situation is, but I'm guessing you've dropped a shit or two unexpected.
on a staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she even on that girls trip was like, I'm bar none, hands down, the most popular housewife that ever lived. Like, I get the most ratings. New York's the best, and regardless of the New York ratings, I mean, she does, for whatever reason, she is the most popular housewife. So they were like, oh God, she's
no matter what she does
insane.
Or says, they'll fire someone else for doing the same thing,
or just
but
they'll
not her.
cancel the whole show or whatever,
Right?
Or they'll be just annoyed with the person, or they demand they'll fire you because you want too much money.
Yeah.
But with her, she was just so popular. They were like, they're smart. I mean, it's obviously that the network execs there are really smart, but they sent them all over to Peacock. I mean, they took Miami to Peacock, and now Miami that same season is running on Bravo.
Right. They just share it. They just need people to join it. Do you guys ever buy lottery tickets? We'll end on this.
Oh, yes, we do.
You mean scratchers or the numbers? Either one.
Who the fuck cares? Do you buy them or not?
Yeah.
Both.
And what's the most you've ever won?
$10.
How much do you think that you spend on?
I mean, we don't spend a lot, but I've now started to buy like the $30 scratchers because, like, when you're in Vegas, you have to bet the max. So if you buy the $30 scratcher, you can get. So, I mean, you mean in a year or lifetime?
Listen, let's just do a scenario. You find out you won it. It was your ticket, okay?
Private jet.
You bought it together, so it was a $30. So you're like, I need $15. So you bought the $30 ticket together, and you like check the number 12 times. You're shaking. You're alone. You have won, and you've won. I'm just going to say like a weird number, like 680 million.
A weird number?
Or just like I didn't want it to be like a 1 billion.
Oh, God. Okay, that's a lot.
And so you're going to do, let me take it all now. So that cuts it down to whatever, 300, then cut that in half, 150.
Okay.
So now you have 150 million. What do you really do with your life? Not like the next day, but like how do you change it?
I thought
What
you were going to
do?
ask, do I share it?
No, you have to share it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've thought about this. This is what I think about when I'm thinking about bad, negative stuff, dark stuff. I'll go, okay, let me plan what I do with my lottery money.
Okay.
So I had been given the advice in the past, because I'll talk about this to other people, to keep it a secret for a year.
Yes.
Because obviously the whole family is now on the teat and they're bugging. And then your thing with your family, not like your kids, but like your other family is it a lump sum or is it a payment plan? Because now you're getting into like, you're going to blow this and you're going to be back for more. And so I'm not trying to give you a whole lump sum. So first thing I'm going to do is keep it a secret for a year.
Okay.
And then I'm going to somehow play it off, and I'm definitely going to do like payment plans with people so that they get money per month. But I don't give a lump sum because I just can't trust anyone, and I'm controlling.
Okay.
That's it. What else would you buy?
Well, I mean,
a house?
obviously, I
Would
do
you-
all my shit. I'm not giving them all the money. In
No,
a
not
payment
that.
plan.
But
what are you
what else
doing
do you
with
do?
it?
Like,
no,
are
I
you
was
going
more
to buy?
concerned with what everyone else needed and me
Would you-
hoarding it all. How was I
Are
going
you going to buy a
them?
house? You're going to move to Hawaii?
Balenciaga is selling trash bag purses for $1,790. $1,790.
What?
Would you do anything like that? Would you go on any kind of shopping spree?
Oh, of course. My thing is, I wouldn't want to own stuff. I'd rather like live in a hotel and have people wait on me. I don't want to
That's
own
nice.
shit.
I
nice.
would go on a bunch of like killer trips
Yeah.
and invite people my treat.
That's
Like I don't want a
nice.
bunch of properties I have to maintain, and
Yeah.
unless it was making me money. But I'll go like live in like Chateau Marmont or even nicer wherever, and then be like, I don't have any belongings, and I just have all money and clothes and purses. Here comes the model,
Oh no, she saw me and now she's leaving.
ready for the photo. She
She's
saw
like, that
one dyke
lesbian's
and
still there.
the dog slowly
Yes.
backed out of the room.
Living in a hotel, that's interesting. I just thought to myself, every member of my family gets $1 million lump sum. I don't care. I'm not controlling like that. They get $1 million and that's it. I have a small family. Take your $1 million. I'm going to take now. If they need more, we can talk about it. Also,
Well, they're always going to.
I'm going to get the ranch. That's where my home's going to be. I'm going to have an animal shelter, and then I'm traveling, and we're just doing it like that. And then it's
All right.
private jets and having fun and paying for people and living the rest of the life.
private jets. It was only 150 million when it was all said and
150
done.
million.
No, but
get-
you just
but
take the
that's so much.
trip. You just count. You make the trip. You don't
Oh,
have
I
to
see.
own the
I don't have
plane.
to own it. Okay.
Yeah,
You
just take the
charter
trip.
it. You charter
Now we're
it.
traveling around the world and we're going to all these amazing places and staying in great hotels and having a great life.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just popping on his plane.
who's
You know what I
dead
mean?
now. Yeah.
I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
be friends with people because I'm rich, and then I just use their planes for free. Like
yeah, but
when
nobody wants to be with the weird. No rich people want to hang out with the tacky lottery winner.
That's true.
Yeah. So, girls, tell everybody where they can find you.
We have a podcast, Dumb Gay Politics. It's a liberal gay comedy podcast. And we have a Patreon, No Politics. Go to julieandbrandy.com if you want to hear a free episode of our Patreon podcast.
It's such a better way to sell yourself this time. Congrats.
I forced myself
You've really
because
cleaned
you're
it
so
up.
judgy.
You've really cleaned it up.
And by the way, on our Patreon right now, we're doing something called Patreon Idol, where our listeners are submitting themselves singing and doing stuff like that, and it's been really fun.
That
really,
sounds really fun.
really fun, and it's awesome.
Almost as fun as coming to see me live at the Juicy,
right.
Juicy Scoop. You go to heathermcdonald.net. Go there. All the cities are there. All the links are there. Get your tickets.
Where are you going? Coming
Well,
up.
I'm all the places where my sheet.
Well, you're doing BravoCon.
I'm doing
you're
St.
doing
Paul,
your-
Chicago, New York, Vegas, Portland, Seattle, Boston, DC, Philly, and Texas, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston.
Nice.
All
Baller.
in September, October, and November.
Whoa.
And
You guys got to go. The show is hilarious.
it's going to be
a
real fun. Real
Yep.
fun.
All the audience is fun too.
And I
love
have
your
guests.
crowds.
I'm going to announce the guests. I might have already announced the guests by the time you listen to this, but you'll see who's coming to which things, and there'll be extra people too. Thank you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.